Hey ladies and gents, it's Sam back and we are doing some more Avorion. Now, I started out with this video series one. I was going to go through a whole process of how I would get to this point in my game. But it's going to take so long to do that because it's fucking literally hundreds of hours of gameplay. So I'm going to break some of this down into something a little easier to understand for first time players or players that are still trying to work out what's going on in the game. Now, when you first start out, and this, of course, I go to the map all the time. When you first start out, you'll notice like these little green blimps, right? These little green blips, right? And they're usually energy signatures. So that usually means there's some sort of faction, civilization, whatever in that star system. Now, there is what they call hidden masses. These are unknown hidden masses, and they come up as yellow. And in this game, there's a crap ton of free hidden stuff that you can use to further your game. They're called secret stashes, traveler stashes. There's asteroids. There is abandoned ships. There's abandoned wrecks of all kinds to use. There is smugglers' dens. There is wormholes. All this stuff is usually found in what they call these unknown hidden mass signatures. Well, how do you find them? In the very first video I showed you we talked to the adventurer right off the bat. He gave you a system component, and we'll talk about that with the ship menu here, and we'll go to our systems. And it was one of these things. It's called a radar upgrade, and this radar upgrade is what you use to find hidden masses, deep range and deep scan radar range. These, of course, will upgrade as you move up the tree. You can get better upgrades. This is an exceptional one. Of course, there's also the exotics and, of course, the legendaries. However, this is plenty good for what I'm doing. Radar range, deep scan range. This is what finds you the hidden masses and, of course, the unknown signature masses. So remember, green early in the game when you're first starting out is usually good because once you jump in there, you're not going to jump in on a bunch of pirates. That's one of the other problems when you go into the hidden masses is you don't know what's there, and there's going to be pirates and all that kind of other bullshit, and they can fuck you all up. The other thing you need, of course, is this. This is called an object detector. This highlights all interesting objects that are in that sector. Now, this is the high-end. This is an exotic one. Well, actually, this is the radar upgrade I should be using. Sorry. This is the legendary radar upgrade with a 10 for radar range and deep scan with 8. When you first start out in the game, you're going to be using something along the lines of, where is one of them here in the white? These are nothing really that special. Something like this. Radar upgrade will be radar range. Radar range, these are what you first have out when you start looking around for equipment or systems. So they're going to be really crappy. You have to upgrade as you go. The same way with the radar detectors or the object detectors. The detection range is a sector. It doesn't actually show you what's in there. It just tells you that there is valuable objects. This is one of the first things you really should find out right off the bat, because this is going to help you when you get into system find out if there's anything in there that's hidden, right? Any hidden stashes or asteroids or any of that kind of stuff. They won't tell you where they are in the system. They'll just give you a general idea. They'll just tell you that there's something there. You'll have to find it yourself. As you move up into the better components or the better systems, these of course will get better. Right now with the blue and the rare, radar range, deep scan range 3+3, with the detector, it 5.25 kilometers. So you can jump into the sector. It'll tell you that there's something there, and if you get within 5.25 kilometers, it will highlight it for you. As you get up further, of course, into the yellow, they just get better, right? So it's obviously pretty simple. This one was 10 kilometers. Eventually you get to the red, which is the exotic. This will highlight the entire sector. This is what I use now, and I'm going to jump around here showing you some of the things that you will find in the hidden masses. So this is a green signature system. You can see that they are sprinkled around here. These are the green ones. Most likely these are part of this civilization, which is the Uru pirates. These little green dots will probably have stations, ships, and all that kind of stuff. What we're looking at, of course, is the yellow dots, the unknown hidden mass signatures. And when you jump in with them, you're taking a chance, right? I'm going to be honest with you. You're going to jump into them. A lot of them have pirates. All these little dots right here are all hidden signature masses. I started this video and I started jumping around looking for things in here to show you. This one, for example, has 12 ships. You don't know until you jump into that system what's in there. So you better have a decent ship, or you have to use your probe to jump in to see if there's anything there before you jump in yourself. Most of these are going to be like 670 asteroids. They'll have a lot of asteroids in them because it's obviously a mass detection, so as long as there's mass in the system, they will show up as a yellow dot, and there's usually asteroids, whatnot, more asteroids. This one, for example, is a wreck. This one is something's in here. I don't know what it is. I can't find it. This one over here is more just a mad station. I'll show you what's in there. And this, of course, is a smuggler's hideout. Let's start out first with, of course, a wormhole. Wormholes are naturally occurring in this game. What wormholes let you do is travel distances without using your warp engines or your jump engines. So we're going to jump over to that, and I'll show you what a wormhole looks like. It's simply just a big blotch of space that you push into, and you can jump from one spot in the galaxy to another. This is a wormhole, and there'll be different colors. There'll be purples and yellows and whatnot. You can see on the map where this wormhole leads. You see the line right here? Takes you all the way up to here. This is actually where I found this wormhole, was right here. Jumped through the wormhole, and I covered a significant distance to where I got to here. These are naturally occurring, and you'll find them all over. If you look at the map here, you can see tons of them all over the place. They're everywhere. Every one of these. Sometimes these mass signatures, when you jump in, you'll find these wormholes all over the place, and they're really kind of important strategically to find, because this is some of the easiest ways to move around the galaxy is if you can find a decent wormhole. So I always, whenever I find them, I like to jump through them. You don't have to worry when you jump through these that on the other side you're going to find a bunch of pirates. Typically they're just clean systems. So yeah, you always want to be looking for wormholes. And there's, like I said, this one's kind of a blackish one. Some of them are yellow, some of them are purple, but essentially just a kind of a hole in space. The next thing you can find inside these systems, of course, are especially the mass signature. The closer you get to the center of the galaxy is MAD. MAD is a acronym for a bunch of dickheads. They're scientists, apparently. But they have these stations. They're called MAD stations. It's actually, the acronym is MAD. These are actually part of one of the quests to get one of the bosses will show up. But I'll show you what they look like. Here's one of them right here. It is a energy research satellite. You have to blow 4 of these up, but you only can find them in hidden mass. Usually in hidden masses is where you'll find these. If I shoot this right now and blow it up, I blow up 4 more of these stations. The boss comes in and we have a fight, and then I get the component from him that I need to open the gate. And you can actually repeat this over and over again. Once you take it one time, you can do it again and keep collecting those components, which you can use for your ships. We're not going to fuck with him. He's already pissed because I've blown him up like 50 million times. So, once again, another thing that you're going to find there. The other things that you're also going to find, and this is kind of important, are, of course, these smuggler dens. In the game, raiding is a way to make a really large chunk of change. However, when you go to trade with other factions, you are transporting stolen equipment or stolen goods. What these smuggler dens do is once you find one, you can take your stolen material there. You can find him. Where'd he go? Right there. You can take your stolen material to this smuggler hideout and unbrand them and turn around and sell them at other factions, or you can actually just sell the stolen item directly to these guys. These are always nice to find, and they're kind of sometimes really important to find one wherever your selling your stolen goods at, is to find these things off the bat. And these are usually almost every time found in the hidden mass signatures. So we got smuggler dens, we got mad scientist research centers, we've got wormholes, and the other thing we usually want to find in these mass signatures, you can see the yellows are popping up all over here, and of course the greens, is secret stashes. And, well, I'm sorry, let's do wrecks. A lot of these hidden mass places, or hidden mass signatures, will have wrecks in them, and they will be either ships or stations. You always want to make sure you are putting nice to know where these wrecks are, that you can pop into. And here's the wreck right here. It's a very large wreck. Where these wreckages are, you can pop back in here with your salvage fighters or your salvage laser and salvage these big chunks of material. There's 261,000 trinium just in this one wreck. And of course you can jump in, and we'll do a video on wreckage salvaging and how to do it and all that kind of stuff. But you always want to make sure you can take notes of where these things are at. I do have a note here. I spelled wreck wrong. Let's fix that right away. Apparently I was going wreck or something like that, maybe. So yeah, one of the things that you find in these masses, of course, are the wreckage. You want to highlight those and make sure, because when you come back later on, these places are great for picking up material. Same way with smuggler dens. You don't have to have 3 of them in one area. You only need 1. Go back in there, blow that up, salvage the wreck of the smuggler hideout, and take all the shit that's inside this wreck, which is a bunch more stolen stuff. Yeah, I said you only need 1 to unbrand stuff. So these places are actually really great places to pick up free material. Or not free material, well, it is free material. After you blow the station, you can salvage the wreck, and these stations usually have a crap ton of material. Avorion, Xanian, trinium, iron. So these stations usually have hundreds of thousands of units of material. So these places are always good to know where they're at. In case you need some material, you can jump in, blow the station, and then salvage it. The other big one that you're going to find, of course, is these secret stashes, traveler stashes, and asteroids. And we did a little bit in one of the other videos about that. Just excuse me a second here while I take my friendly little dude out of here. I always highlight these, especially like they said with these wrecks and stuff, to know where everything's at here. So we're going to pull around here, pick up our jump, and there we go. Now we're jumping back out. Secrets, how much they can help. Of course, you're going to take a little bit of a flack, of course, to get these materials and whatnot here. So there is our secret stash. Now I'm using, of course, this detector here, which shows me everything that's in the sector. However, if I only use, let's see here, let's use this one, which is, just to give you an idea, where did it go? Object detector. Apparently, here's one. This one highlights a range at 10. So when I pop it in here, it's going to show me that, oh, I'm sorry, I have to jump back. For some reason, you have to reset it every time. So if I jump back out, jump back in, it'd only show me things that were within 10 kilometers. However, since I was using the red one, it doesn't do me any good. So, but just believe me here. So the white ones, when you first start, it's only going to tell you that there's something in the sector. It's not going to show you where at. And as you progress up and get better systems, it is going to show you exactly where they're at. Of course, this red one I'm using, which is an exotic, shows me everything in the sector, and I don't have to worry about it. So what we have here, of course, is we have a asteroid. You can find the asteroids, of course, without the detector. You just have to look around the system, zoom out, look around the system, and you can usually see these big asteroids. The little ones, though, are a little harder to find. The secret stashes and the traveler stashes are very small. However, they are somewhat easy to determine where they're at. They're usually clustered. For example, this one up here is going to be clustered in a tight group of asteroids. It's always buried, right? See how each one of them there's a bunch of little asteroids right in a big bunch? That's where you usually find them. So if you jump into the system and you know that they're here, you just start looking for clusters of asteroids, and you have a pretty good chance of picking up where possibly the secret stash is. So I know he's in there somewhere. Let's see if we can pull over here and see if I can get close to him with this ship. This ship is, well, of course, one of my in-game ships, and this thing is freaking huge. So it does not do these little things too hot. So there's the secret stash. The other one's probably so there's a secret stash and there's a traveler stash. There's really not much difference. What they're usually inside of them, of course, is there's systems, there's turrets, and there's cash, depending on what you get. If I would have known about these early game when I first started playing the game, it would have made this fucking game so much easier. Because you pick up, depending how far from you're from the center of the galaxy, how much money, 75, 100K of cash, and then of course the components, the system components, the systems that you will use, and of course turrets. So here's the secret stash. We're going to open up and see what we got inside here. What the flying fuck is this? So Operation Exodus, that is one of the actual for the bosses. I don't know why that opened up as that. I can't even. Alright, so that didn't have what I wanted in it, but that's just one part of the problem here. We'll go over to the other one, and you can talk about that. Operation Exodus, of course, is how to get one of the components to open the gateway, and we'll go through that in a different video. So that secret stash was a bust. We'll try this one. I'm almost positive one of these has got to have something in them that's half-assed decent. Let's see here. Can we get close enough? Otherwise, I got to go into the probe. There's the secret stash. So let's open it up. And we got a shield converter and a salvage laser turret. These are always nice. And, of course, 57,000 credits. After I usually get it, I usually blow them up. Otherwise, they sit here. And they're, of course, worthless. Sometimes when you blow them up, you might get another turret or a system out of it. So, yeah, those are secret stashes or traveler stashes. If you can find them, jump in, grab them. There's free cash, free turrets, free all that kind of bullshit. So, we're going to go look at one of these asteroids and what that does for you or what you can use for. Let's see here. There's one right there. He's about... Yeah, he's a ways away. So is this one. I always get a little leery when I start pulling into these systems with these big ships, because them asteroids. I lose more fucking ships to asteroids smacking into them at 3,000 meters a second than I do ever getting blown up by any baddies. I don't know why. I have a fuck of a time with asteroids. So let's roll on over here to this asteroid. This is the closest one. You will find these, and these are a great source of cash, and they're also a great source of making friends. This will give you kind of prestige points when you sell these to whatever faction that is closest. So I'm going to pull up to here, and of course you can claim them for yourself depending on what you're doing. We're just going to pull up to this one here. We're going to claim it. We're not going to sell it or you turn it into a deal. We'll just claim it, and I'll show you how to claim it here. You got to be within 0.2 kilometers, I believe. 0.25 kilometers maybe is what it is, to even have a hope here. So we're just going to coast in here. This thing is too fucking big to smack into. In fact, I got to get through some of this crap. The fact that this ship is absolutely huge, I don't have a problem pushing asteroids aside. When you get your ship, if you're a little bit smaller, sometimes you got to be a little bit more careful when you come in here. This to me is more like, I'll just bull my way in here. We're going to pull up here and 0.20. That's what it is. So F to interact, and we're just going to claim it. Now push F again to either found a mine or sell the asteroid. Now if I want to sell the asteroid, the closest ones, of course, are the Uruno pirates, which are the dickheads that I just got out of system with, and they were fucking with me. Blew them up. They hate me, whatever. However, if I wanted to sell this thing to them, I will gain 5,219 credits and 15,000 reputation. So if you wanted to make friends with the pirates, this is the best way to, one of the quickest way to do it, is with the selling of asteroids to them. Credits, as this reputation gets better with the pirates, this sum will go up. When you get toward the center or some of the other places, you can get up to almost 500,000 in credits for every asteroid you find. Most of the time you're only going to get, depending on who you're friendly with, The faction you sell it to, the friendlier you're with, the more friendly you are with them, the more money you get. Blah, 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 right? So, those are asteroids and secret stashes. Like I said, with the object detector, depending on what you're going to do early in the game, a lot of times it's hard to find these things. Asteroids are easy to find because you can see them pretty easily. Secret stashes and all this other stuff, not so easy to find. You're going to have to get a better detector, or you're going to have to spend a shit ton of time flying around looking at all these little clusters to see if you can find a secret stash. So, the next one that you usually typically find is what they call wrecks. And this one right here is, there's a wreck, what they call the wreck ship, and of course a abandoned ship. And I'm going to show you the difference here. And these are some of the things, like I said, you obviously find in these hidden masses. Most of the time, and there's a lot of a good time when you jump into a hidden mass, there's going to be fucking pirates everywhere. There's going to be asteroids in there, there's going to be secret stashes, but there'll be, and how to actually take some of that stuff without actually having to deal with it. So we jump back into this system. There is, of course, another. Let's see if I can click on him. Come on, don't be a dick. There's a secret stash. And they all change colors. I'm not going to go get him because I'm going to fuck up my ship. I actually have a ship specifically made to get this kind of stuff. It's a lot smaller. So, and the other thing, of course, is what we find is, and you'll see him blinking off over there. Those are usually, those blinking, when they blink like that, they're usually a pod, or a, not a pod, I guess they call them. There are a beacon, right? Some of the beacons that you'll find that flash like that are beacons that will do the Operation Exodus, which was one of the things, what's one of the missions you need to find the key to get to the center of the galaxy. This one right here, this beacon, and the beacons will flash every place you go. You run into a beacon, it'll flash and it'll tell you where it's at. You don't even need the object detector. It will flash automatically. It doesn't matter how far away you are. So this beacon, if you hit it, will tell you we are ambushed, hypervet. So essentially these people are dead, and this is what's left of them, this beacon. What's next to it, of course, is a, you can see what's sitting next to him, is a wreckage. That ship right there is nothing more than a pile of junk, and all you can do with this piece of wreckage here is salvage it and turn it into materials for yourself. You can get closer. You actually can get scanners that can tell you this from a distance, but I don't have that on my ship right now. Once you get close enough, you can see, of course, there's 1964 Xanian in that ship if you decide to salvage it. Same way with the beacon. That's just, you can just keep interacting with it, whatever. These beacons right here, there's usually two kinds. There's this one here that lets you know that this is a wreckage, or the other beacon lets you know what you need to do for the Operation Exodus mission. So, and of course there's a traveler stash right next to it. Let's pull in next to there. There's always a traveler stash here. We'll interact with it, and we're going to pick up a double laser turret and 170,000 credits. Yeah, traveler stashes are nice. So, yeah, there's some of the things so far that you can find with, of course, the jumping in and out of these systems. Most of the time, if you said, like I said right here, these were all hidden masses, and once I jumped in, there was 12 ships, lots of asteroids. This one here was 7 ships, bunch of asteroids. This one was, of course, there's another set of wreckage here. I always make sure I write down what I find in there so I can come back later. This one has 19 ships. Nothing else in there but just the 19 ships and 1,675 asteroids. So there's no reason to go back here because there's nothing here interesting other than the asteroids. If you decide to mine them, then you have to go in and blow up the pirates. Other than that, there's 7 ships. However, this is probably one of the more interesting things you will find in these inside these hidden masses. We're going to jump out here real quick and give you an eyeful. Like I said, we are already here. So this one, the big difference, of course, it's still loaded with asteroids. This, however, has a abandoned ship. And that's the difference between a wrecked ship, and an abandoned ship. There is, of course, something else. Is there something else here? There is a traveler stash next to it. So we're going to pull up here, and I'm going to show you what this thing does. I think I've covered most of the things you're going to find in these places. So there is the... Yep, there he is. Now these ships, these abandoned ships, usually are very similar to the ships that are flown around by the faction that is in this area of space. Yeah, we're just going to pull up here. We're going to pick up the traveler stash, open it, and we got a big trinium triple cannon, exceptional. These traveler stashes and secret stashes usually have pretty good shit in it, and I got 55,000 credits. This is one of the better ways to pick up high-end turrets and systems, because they usually give out pretty good stuff. So got the traveler stash, and now we of course have the ship. So I just interacted with it, and I'm going to push F. And should I repair it? Well, of course. So now I just repaired this ship, and we're going to jump into it, and this is what it looks like. Yeah, it is a tiny little thing. It has no crew, it has no thrusters, it has no power. In fact, we'll go into the building mode, and that's what it looks like. So as you can see, it has no power, no crew, no engines, all that kind of stuff. So if I want to take this ship with me, I have to, of course, put these stuff on this ship. I have to build engines. I have to put power plants on it. I have to put a crew on it. That's why my big ships, I always have 400 or 500 extra crew on board. If I find one of these, then I can pick it up. I'm kind of a collector, and I'll show you my collection of abandoned ships I have in my home base. I have I think there's 10, 12, 13 of them now, but there's some really unique looking ones that are kind of neat to see. So once you find one of these, be prepared to make sure you have enough crew on hand, and you be prepared enough equipment or enough materials and credits to actually put this all together. With the alliance part of it, I have plenty. Actually, for some reason not showing here. I have millions of material, so I have plenty of material to put this thing back into action. Because, like I said, you have to build generators, engines, and shields and all that kind of stuff if you want to get this thing back to your home base. So, with that said, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll have some more Avorion videos coming up a little later.